Your neighbor. I like Wike. I know some of you are like, what? Yes, I like Wike. Let me tell you why I like him. I liked him more. Why did we leave it before? Why did our forefathers abandon African why did they leave it? They left it because it was full of demons and it was full of evil and strange happenings that they could not control or explain. And then Christianity, the gospel began to come, and the gospel came with good things. The gospel came with education. The gospel came with medication. The gospel came with the love of God. The gospel came with the goodness of God. Development also came along with the gospel. And our fathers, our grandfathers, great-grandfathers saw a better God than those useless things. I like Wike. Your neighbor. I like Wike. The other day I was watching him. I know some of you are like, what? Yes, I like Wike. Let me tell you why I like him. Wike went somewhere. You know Wike, right? The FCT minister. He went somewhere to address some people in their place. You know what he said? I used to like him, but that day I liked him more. He said to them, all of you here have idols. Go and tell your idols to cooperate. If not, I will enter the shrine and flog them. The man is not, he said, I will flog all your idols. I will give them the beating of their lives. That's a man who knows something. He knows that the gods are dead. I like that guy, man. He said, I will enter your shrines and give your idols beating if they don't live up. You think a man that doesn't know something will talk like that to shrines? I will come inside there and give them the beating of their lives. When I saw it, I said, I like this man. Go and beat. He's telling them in their village, in their locality, in the presence of their idols. And he said it and nothing happened, and he left, nothing happened. Oh my goodness. The gods are dead. Those that know their God, they shall be strong and they shall do exploits. Am I teaching good? I said, am I teaching good tonight? God said, since you have paid allegiance to a strange God, I will allow. Because you must benefit from your God. I will allow your God to compensate you. And what was the compensation of their God? Evil came upon their land and destroyed everything and rendered the land desolate. Why couldn't God intervene? They locked God out and did not give God legal access. And God is not a criminal, and God is not a witch that forces you to do what you don't want to do. So it was permissive tense, not causative. Another narrative close to that will be 2 Kings 17:25. 2 Kings chapter 17 verse 25 to 26 PJ.
The cities of Aurora are. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them.
The Lord sent lions. Are you following? Okay, read on 26 PJ.
Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he had sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land.
So in this instance, what we read is God's rejection. But the writer and author presents the facts as God sending it. It's actually God's rejection. But the writer presents the fact as God sending it. Hence, a reader can be susceptible to reading the above text in the light of when somebody obeys or disobeys God. Thereafter, he is dealt with by God. Meanwhile, the question should actually be extracted from the book of Genesis. Because when explaining evil, it must be understood categorically that God is not the progenitor, but the protector. When it comes to evil, God is not the progenitor, but the protector. That is, what God does is to protect. What God does is to protect. So when he says, know not the manner of the God of the land, it can be invariably read as, you don't know my protection. It cannot be my protection at the same time my lions. See? It cannot be my protection at the same time my lions, or it will imply that God was protecting man from himself, and this is not the case. God's protection is rather emphatic. The protection of God is emphatic in Old Testament writings. Look, for example, God's protection. Psalm 91, verse 13 and 14, PJ. Psalm 91, 13 and 14.
Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet.
Next verse.
Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name.
I will set him on high because he has set his love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. Moses says in Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 15.
Who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water? Who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint?
Who brought thee water forth out of the rock of flint? Notice the following. Who led you through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein there were fiery serpents and scorpions? Now the Old Testament speaks of God's protection, and that is what it does. The way and manner with which this can be known is by reading the whole story across the books. Reading the whole story across the books that were written. Let us examine another example in the book of Ezekiel. Pay attention. Ezekiel 34:25. Ezekiel 34:25.
And I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods.
Now the writer states further in very clear terms, that same Ezekiel chapter 34 verse 28, PJ. Ezekiel 34:28.
And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast of the land devour them. But they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid.
And none shall make them afraid. Observe the distinction in that scripture. Could God be approbating and reprobating at the same time and within the same scenario? It's not possible for God to be approbating and reprobating at the same time in the same scenario. The verb, I will cause the evil beasts, could not have been causative. It could not have been done by God. Rather, it was permissive, and this can only be known by reading the entire story. For example, verse 28, and they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beasts of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid.